And thank you again for being here. Welcome to Va-Dor. I'm Sharon Leibovitz, and I'm very pleased and proud to present the story of Henry Winkler tonight for you. Henry Winkler has appeared on both the big screen and the TV screen, on stage and behind the camera. Perhaps to many of us living in the 70s and 80s, he'll forever be remembered first as the leather jacket wearing, motorcycle riding Arthur Fonzarelli, aka the Fonz. Henry Franklin Winkler was born on October 30th, 1945 in Manhattan, New York. His parents, Ilse Anna Marie and Harry Irving Winkler, were German Jewish immigrants who escaped the Holocaust by moving to the U.S. in 1939. His father was the president of an international lumber company, while his mother worked alongside his father. Henry grew up in New York City, and his parents were strict and stern, to say the least. My parents were very, 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 very short Jews from Germany, Henry explains. They believed in education. They thought I was lazy. I was called lazy. I was called stupid. I was told I was not living up to my potential. And all the time inside, I'm thinking, I don't think I'm stupid. I'm trying as hard as I can. I really am. I was grounded for most of my high school career. They thought if I stayed at my desk for 6 weeks at a time, I was going to get it, and they were just going to put an end to the silliness of my laziness. That was going to be that. He grew up with a high level of low self-esteem. Even so, with his struggles with academics, Henry received a bachelor's degree from Emerson College in Boston in 1967 and a Master of Fine Arts degree from the Yale School of Drama, New Haven, Connecticut in 1970. He later also received an honorary PhD in Hebrew literature in 1978 from Emerson College. Ironically, later in life, Henry found himself doing a lot of the same things his parents had done to him when his stepson Jed was struggling with a report for school. Henry and his wife had Jed tested, and when Jed was diagnosed with dyslexia, a light bulb went off for Henry. I went, oh my goodness, I have something with a name. That was when I first got it, at the age of 31. He now knew that there was a reason why he encountered so many obstacles in school, causing him to not meet his parents' expectation of being a straight-A student. Back to Henry's youth. Following college, his top priority was to become an actor. Like many other actors, he began his career by appearing in commercials. 30. His first major film role was in The Lords of Flatbush in 1974, in which he played a member of a Brooklyn gang alongside a very young Sylvester Stallone. After that, he was cast in a new ABC series, which was set in the 50s, Happy Days, also in 1974. He was given the role of high school dropout and greaser Arthur Fonzie Fonzarella. The Fonz was supposed to be a small part when Henry first started, but his charisma and energy soon made his character a star. Despite Arthur Fonzarelli's apparent ease on screen, Henry was anything but self-assured with the scripts. It took him 2 days to read and review his lines, and even then, he improvised because he couldn't remember his lines once he was in the studio. But he got the essence of it and ran with it. The hard work paid off and earned him 2 Golden Globe Awards for Best Actor. He says, I guess the key is no matter how many times you fall over, you dust yourself off and you keep moving. Happy Days ratings began to soar, and Fonzie became a 70s icon and the epitome of cool. Unlike many 1970s stars who rose to fame in a short period of time and developed big heads, Winkler managed to stay well grounded and avoided falling into this trap. He was said to be more polite and agreeable even after his popularity soared. He remained on the series for 10 years until his cancellation in 1984. After Happy Days, he produced and directed several television shows and movies, most notably MacGyver and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. In the mid-90s and early 2000s, he was able to reestablish himself with a younger generation, appearing in films such as Scream, The Water Boy, and on TV shows such as The Practice and Arrested Development. In 2018, after over 45 years in the entertainment industry, he won his first ever Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series for his role on the HBO series Barry. In addition to his movie and film credits, Winkler is a well-accomplished author. Henry has co-authored almost 50 children's novels with Lynn Oliver. The book series called Hank Zipser, the world's greatest underachiever, is based on Henry's early learning struggles with dyslexia, and these have sold more than 5 million copies throughout the world. In 2023, Henry co-authored his autobiography with James Kaplan, Being Henry, The Fonz and Beyond, which became an instant New York Times bestseller. Winkler has been married since 1978, 48 years, to Stacy Winkler, with whom he has 3 children, Jed, his stepson, Zoe and Max, and 6 grandchildren. Together, Henry and Stacy are actively involved with various children's charities. In 1990, they co-founded the Children's Action Network, which provides free immunization to over 200,000 children. Winkler is also involved with the annual Cerebral Palsy Telethon, the Epilepsy Foundation of America, the annual Toys for Tots campaign, the National Committee for Arts for the Handicapped, and the Special Olympics. Regarding Henry's Jewishness, Henry's parents were founding members of Congregation Habanim in Manhattan, where Henry became a bar mitzvah and where he later married his wife Stacy. Henry identifies as, quote-unquote, observant with pride, and is a member of the Leo Baag Temple in Los Angeles. He has frequently been honored for his humanitarian work and activism, which he attributes to the Jewish tradition of giving back and caring for the vulnerable. As proof of this, Henry's daughter, Zoe Winkler Reines, who is founder of This Is About Humanity, an organization that helps shelter and care for families separated at the border of the United States, shared how Jewish tradition and her Jewish parents instilled in her a desire to give back. What's been instilled in me is that as a Jewish person, you care for every single person. Your cause isn't just about you. You take on other people's causes too. I grew up in a house where giving back was not an option. It was instilled in us. And I believe that that comes from our religion, but also from just who we are as a people. Henry Winkler has kept moving, with a career spanning over 55 years and taking on his learning challenge of dyslexia, embracing it and working with it. You accept your learning challenge. I'm still frustrated by my learning challenge, and I'm still smacked in the face by it every day. He also emphasizes, this is what I know. A learning challenge doesn't have to stop you. Every child who writes me a letter about the Hank Zipser series books, I write back. In every letter I include, your learning challenge will not stop you from meeting your dream. Only you will stop yourself from meeting your own dream. So let's get on with the story of Henry Winkler in videos. This first video was done in 2017, and it's pretty much a kind of a biography, and it's Sunday Profile, a Sunday show, and it's an interview with his wife, Stacy.
And again, who doesn't love Henry Winkler?
Hey!
After all, he was the Fonz on the classic TV series Happy Days.
All right, now listen up, girl. One time only. Line right up here, kiss the Fonz for $1. Now that's a bargain at any price.
The role of the Fonz was the foundation on which I built the rest of my life. He built the house I live in.
But Winkler didn't always feel the love, especially in the Manhattan apartment where his parents, immigrants from Nazi Germany, raised him.
They had an affectionate phrase for me called dummer Hund. And for those of you who don't understand German, that means dumb dog. They were convinced that I was lazy, that I was not living up to my potential. The teachers said the same thing. So I was grounded most of my high school career.
How old were you when you read your first book?
31.
What neither Henry nor his parents knew was that he was dyslexic. So dyslexic, he could barely read.
It was horrible. It was humiliating. It was scary. And I learned to memorize as much as I could from any page and then improvise.
How many colleges did you apply to?
I applied to 28 and I got into 2.
Winkler managed to get through Boston's Emerson College, then was accepted to the prestigious Yale School of Drama after auditioning with a Shakespearean monologue, sort of.
Lawrence and the dog, and he loved his dog, and he would take his dog for a walk.
Yes, it was a monologue that he improvised.
The sky was that eerie blue just before a storm. I made it up.
After Yale, he acted on stage and in commercials.
Look out, world, the Fonz is coming! Hey!
Then, at the age of 27, Winkler became the coolest high school dropout in America.
What's in the box, Fonz?
My engagement rings.
You give girls engagement rings?
Hey, don't be silly. They give them to me.
He was one of TV's biggest stars, but his dyslexia continued to interfere with not just his reading, but also physical coordination.
Riding a motorcycle, was that challenging?
Very. I could not piece together the gear, the speed, the brake. But there was too much I couldn't comprehend.
Was that embarrassing for you?
Well, I wish that I could, so it would have looked great if I rode it, you know? But I only rode it for about 15 feet, in actuality.
But Winkler was so convincing, playing smooth and confident, that the offers got bigger.
Why did you turn down the lead in Grease?
Because I'm an idiot. That's it. No, the thing is that I had this thing. Well, I'm not going to be typecast. You know, I'm going to beat the system. And really what I should have done is just shut up and gone to work.
What was the toughest point in your career?
Not being able to work from 1983 to really 1991 as an actor. Happy Days is over. What do I do now? And I had no idea. And being rudderless is painful.
To fill the void, Winkler became a producer. He helped to create the original MacGyver TV series.
And cut. Great.
And he directed. And while he was away working, Stacy raised their 3 kids.
I knew that his first love was his work, and I knew that he had to work in order to feel valued. My belief in him could not fill him because he needed to feel that for himself.
That's very candid. What, your reaction?
My reaction is that I'm very lucky.
And over the past 25 years, Winkler has worked constantly in hundreds of movies and TV shows, including Arrested Development.
So, they're not filing charges. All right, I got them to call your flea from justice
religious expression.
This is a lawyer.
Yeah, he's very good.
I think he has grown and evolved so much that I see less and less of that self-doubt.
Oh, there you go. Nice job.
Part of that confidence comes from a pastime
So beautiful. Look at that one, buddy.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
that Henry and Stacy share.
Henry, if there's one word that this requires, what is it?
Patience, tenacity.
Great shot, my friend. One more.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Winklers have gone fishing,
Get him, get him. There you go.
fly fishing, in Montana and here on the Snake River in Idaho for more than 25 years.
What hooked you?
The place of it, the sound of it, the green of it. And what happens when you're fishing, you cannot concentrate on anything else. Not a problem in the world bothers you at this moment.
Oh, get him, Henry. Wow.
And fly fishing, Winkler says, gave him the courage to conquer his greatest fear, the written word.
I am an actor, a producer, a director. With Lynn, we have written 32 novels, and I am in the bottom 3% academically in America.
We are in chapter 5.
Okay.
Yes, Henry Winkler is the co-author, along with Lynn Oliver, of a series of books about Hank Zipser, a fourth grader who has trouble reading. Sound familiar?
We have written 4,476 words.
Wow, and they're all good. Thank you so much.
Their books have become bestsellers
Thank you for being here.
I mess everything up.
and the basis for a popular series in Britain.
And just because reading, writing, and maths might be hard for you, it has nothing to do with how brilliant you are.
Henry Winkler, America's most famous teenager.
Get him, get him. Nice job, big fish.
He's 71 now.
Nice job,
All right,
there we go. Nice job.
You learn that where there's a will, there's a way. I live by tenacity and gratitude. Tenacity gets you where you want to be, and gratitude allows you not to be angry or frustrated along the way. At this moment, when a lot of men my age are sitting at home, I am in the golden moment. Come here. Golden moment.
Happy days, indeed.
The next one I have for you is the best of Fonz, Moments from Happy Days.
Are you sure you want that?
He wants that. He took the best part of the car.
Right, Richie?
You know, I'll tell you, that's great, because,
Come on, man!
You know the most.
Hey, observe. Whoa.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Cotton on a chain.
Cool Let's see Tarzan do that.
All right, hey, come on, man. This dance is on me.
It doesn't work, Fonzie.
Hey. Who won that race? Oh. Hey, girls, knock yourselves out. I'm really sorry. It was a slip of the fingers, slip of the fingers. I love you. I'll call you a little later, right? Hey.
You just do that, and they... Hey, say, that's a nice trick.
Oh, it ain't no trick. It's a gift. Don't frown. Come here. Oh, just wait your turn, girls. Just wait your turn. It's all coming.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Now, I would let him go unless you want to make medical history. Good choice. The whole building with the... Just... How did you do that? It's a gift. Let's go. Let's make them signs.
Oh, it's not a house.
Come out. I'll see you later, Ned. Hey. Whoa.
This next one is The Merv Griffin Show from 1977.
He's starring in a motion picture. The title is Heroes. Don't miss it, but don't miss him right now. Here he is, Henry Winkler. That's a lot of love.
Okay.
Can you handle all that?
Yeah, it's hard.
Huh?
It's hard, but it's lovely, because it really is nice. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm an actor, I think.
And a
my,
sex symbol.
My mother never stood up when I came home.
Did she?
No.
Did they ever applaud for you around the house, though?
Never.
Never.
No, but that's lovely. Thank you very much.
Well, the applause is going to be twice that, Henry, when they see that film. I tell you, I haven't been excited about a film in a long time. But Heroes, I mean, you are so funny to sit there and find yourself laughing right out loud in a viewing room at some of the stuff you do, the little wonderful bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's a dream. I'll tell you, I dreamt about making the movie since I was 7, so that's 25 years ago. And now it's there, and I went to the preview in, you know, it never gets easy to do these shows.
Yeah.
Now, I went
Did you sneak in with a mustache and a hat on?
No, I drove in. It was nice. People there at the door shook my hand.
At the preview theater?
Oh, at the preview theater. Snuck in a van,
Oh, I was
on
gonna
the
say.
floor of a van. Snuck in Denver, it was. It was the first time.
Yeah.
And a sneak preview for those who don't know, the studio takes the film to another city that is outside of LA, and they show it to an audience that just shows up, you know, and then they get cards and they call those people back and see how they like the film. And I was so blown out by the emotionality of the experience that I missed my name up on the film. You know, you wait to see the film. There it is in the credits. The first time I'm ever going to see the credits. It says Heroes, dum 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 dum, starring dum 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 dum. Missed it. Dum, 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 Sally Field. Dum, dum, dum. Oh God.
Can I be very honest?
Sure.
See, I thought,
yes,
Henry, I know you're on a kick to let everybody know that there's another person there,
yes,
other than the Fonz,
right,
who we all know and love on
yes,
television.
Yes, I do too. I love him too.
But yeah, right? And you should. You've been good for him, and he's been good for you.
Oh, that's the truth.
Yep, and audiences love him and everything.
Yeah,
but
he gave me that film, actually.
Yeah. But there's not a piece of him in it.
No, but I did the Fonz. You know, he's done, and I still do him. So when I go outside, then hopefully there are other characters inside me, you know. I sometimes think, and without being mushy, that the characters are my paintings on the wall. I can't paint and I can't draw. So I make them. I want to create the perfect character. That is one of my dreams in my life.
But see, that's sticking your neck out, because everybody's waiting there to say, oh, what's he gonna do if he isn't the Fonz?
Yeah, but sticking your neck out, I was very fortunate. Betty Davis took me out to dinner.
Wow.
I'll tell you. Betty Davis is still Betty Davis, let me tell you.
Did she go, Fonzie, Fonzie, Fonzie?
Oh, she's terrific. She really is great.
Henry.
Yeah. But she told me a story that 39 years ago, Charles Lawton came and told her that every time you make a film, if you don't put your I can't talk here. It's okay. Every time you make a film, if you don't put your neck on the block, then don't make the film.
Yeah.
You know, and one of my credos is that life is filled with risks. You take them or you don't. You know, so you have to go all out. You can't live in the middle.
The next one I have for you is Fonzie fighting or not fighting his childhood nemesis, who happens to be a very young Tom Hanks. Enjoy.
I had so many good times on that side of the table.
Wheels on the table!
I love them little sounds you make. You know? Let me ask you a question. Are your shorts too tight?
You're next, sister.
This really isn't fair, you know. I mean, how's a guy supposed to get revenge if he won't fight? Now, what's the matter? Come on, you afraid to take a punch?
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. You're right. I have been avoiding this. I'm just gonna stand here. You give me your best punch, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. You just gonna stand and let me take a shot? My mama didn't raise no stoop niggle.
Whatever you say, I gave you my word.
Oh, Fonz.
Fonz, that's not the plan. When you see Shane, then we'll talk.
Fonzie!
Don't.
Oh!
Let's remember him the way he was.
I did it. I did it. So much for the great Arthur Fonzarelli. 17 years I've waited for this moment. The yoke has finally been lifted. I feel satisfied. Oh, it feels so good.
I believe it is my turn.
A joke? Oh, just a joke. Look, maybe I deserve to be pushed off that swing. I was an obnoxious kid. Hey, I'm an obnoxious adult.
You know what you did? You stood up to the Fonz. I like that. You got guts.
I do?
Yeah, you never got killed, but you got guts.
You mean for all these years you haven't thought that I was a coward?
This may come as a shock to you, but for all these years I haven't given you a thought.
Boy, my mama did raise a stoop nigger.
You know, we were 8 years old. Kids do stupid things, you know? You can't live by revenge alone. Remember the searches? You see the searches?
No.
Doesn't anybody go to the movies anymore?
Oh, Fonz, you all right? I was so proud of you.
I'm proud of you too, Fonz. And by the way, I saw the searchers.
Please join me at once was my table, okay? I'm very sorry you spent 17 years tormenting yourself.
Yeah, well, you live and learn, I guess. So, how you been keeping yourself busy these years?
Well, I own half of this place. I teach a school. I own a garage. What about you? What do you do?
I'm a psychiatrist.
This next one I have for you is from 2013. And Henry Winkler just adores Ron Howard, and he's going to tell about his relationship with Ron Howard now.
I had Ron Howard, who is my brother today, who I love with every fiber of my being. Stacy and I are the godparents of his children. He said, if God forbid anything happens to us, to Cheryl and to me, take them. You can bar mitzvah them if you want. Just take them. You know, they were yin and yang. They made the full circle. We could do scenes, 3-page scenes. We could do them in 20 minutes. We could rehearse them. We could ad-lib them. We could memorize them and shoot it 3 times in 20 minutes. I went where he went where I went. It was uncanny. It was uncanny. I'm not kidding. And that's not hyperbole. I'm not romanticizing. I'm telling you the truth. This was amazing chemistry. Mentor, my cousin, the younger brother I never had, was my teacher, was my guide. Oh, what a guy, what a guy, oof, what a guy. He's now going to be a grandfather. Wow. He gave a speech at his daughter's wedding. I thought that I'm going to steal this and use it whenever I have to give a speech. He's just astounding. He's a fabulous man. Ron decided to leave. And in the 7th year, I got a phone call in the blue phone booth that was next to the donuts. He said, Henry, I've got to tell you, I'm not coming. I said, what do you mean not coming? He said, no, I'm going to be a director. I've decided not to sign back on, and I'm not doing the show anymore. I thought my life was over. I never had an acting partner like this in my life. There was an unspoken connection between Ron and me. I grew up in Manhattan. I grew up on the West Side, and around the dinner table, I heard stories. And one of the stories was that my parents were leaving Berlin. They had a 6-week visa to come to New York to work. My father asked his mother for jewelry, and he bought a box of chocolate, melted the chocolate down, and covered all of the pieces of jewelry in chocolate. Put it in the box, put the box under his arm. So that when the Nazis said, "Are you taking anything of value out of Germany?" he said, "No, check my bags, check us, nothing." He then got to New York City and he pawned the jewelry. Eventually started a lumber business and was able to buy the jewelry back. And I have the pocket watch from my great-grandfather that was smuggled out of Germany, encased in chocolate. Still works. Just an amazing thing to have, to pass down from generation to generation.
So the next one I have for you is pieces of HBO's Barry, which is a series that he won the award for.
Hey, Sherry.
Jean Cousineau, always good to see you.
Thank you. It's what I do. If I want pure sorrow, I call up Princess Diana's death. Or the day that my dad fell off the roof when I was a kid. Kaplunk.
I remember once Patrick Swayze, a true friend, until we had a falling out and he had it written into his will that I was barred from his funeral.
Now, take a look around. What do you see?
Soup.
We see soup. What kind of soup? Chicken noodle? Consomme?
I don't know.
I once auditioned for the guy that robbed the house on Full House. And I carried a loaded Beretta with me into the audition, just to feel the weight of it.
Did you get the part?
Oh, they freaked out. Now look, you're in a shell. You need to break out, and I've got the perfect antidote for you. 10 cc's of pure Mammoth.
Mammoth?
Yeah, you're gonna play Blake in Glengarry Glen Ross, the movie. I'm gonna send you the pages. Here's my only direction. Let the cat out. Hey, detective. You know, I've done my share of ride-alongs. I know the ins and outs of your profession.
Mm-hmm.
From where I'm standing, you check all the boxes. I'll get a reservation at Stella Luna. It'll be under Neil Patrick Harris. I find I get a better table that way.
Oh, Jesus. Mr. Cousineau, you said coffee.
Yes, and they do a wonderful espresso here. I recommend it black with just a dollop of gelato. Please.
I want to thank you for your time, Mr. Cousineau.
What about the food?
I didn't come here for food, Mr. Cousineau. I'm working, remember?
All right, I'll make you a proposition.
What?
You're already here. Give me just a little more time. And if that chicken a la king is not the best piece of poultry you've ever had in your mouth, you can kick me right in the genitals. But admit it, you had a good time.
Okay, I actually did. And I needed it. And I thank you.
Oh, Janice.
What?
Well, you're the detective, and I got the confession.
Hi.
Oh, the siren returns. Oh, we're going right into it, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Hi.
What time is it?
8:10. To me, I was very flattered. But now I've got to wonder, are you keeping them in play because you're trying to prevent us from becoming
what we might become?
Is not. No, that's not what's happening here.
Well, that's good, Janice. Now, I know that it's only 3 days, but I'm 47 years old. I am old enough to know a great thing when it comes knocking on my door in the middle of the night. We are breathing rarefied air, and you know it. What a turd of a profession.
Next one I have for you is PBS Weekend Spotlight with Henry Winkler, and I think you're going to enjoy some of the things he shares.
In tonight's Weekend Spotlight, actor Henry Winkler. The popularity of his Happy Days character, the Fonz, exploded in the 1970s. Winkler worried he'd be a flash in the pan, a one-hit wonder. Almost 50 years later, he hasn't stopped working.
Play football for this team.
Movies like The Waterboy featured roles in Parks and Recreation, Arrested Development, and most recently, Barry, for which he won his first Primetime Emmy, and scores of children's books. Now he's written a new memoir called Being Henry, The Fonz and Beyond. He talks about handling sudden fame in his 20s, his difficult relationship with his parents, his dyslexia, and his journey of self-discovery. Recently, I sat down with him to talk about it on a Washington rooftop overlooking the White House.
What's your favorite character that you played?
The honest truth is, there are some things I did that I did because I needed a paycheck. But for the most part, I don't have a favorite. I am so happy that I get to do what I dreamt of doing when I was in bed on 78th and Broadway in New York.
For an actor, what makes a role good? What is it you look
Writing.
for? Writing?
If it isn't on the page, it isn't on the stage. The written word makes or breaks the project.
You are excelling in a profession that depends on the written word.
Yes.
You have dyslexia.
Yes. Destiny is very strange because I've chosen a profession that is so unbelievably difficult not only to survive in, but to participate in for me. When we were doing Happy Days or any table read, which is the whole cast, all of the producers, the directors, everybody on the crew listening for the first time to the script, I couldn't read off the page. And it was embarrassing. It was humiliating. I covered it with humor.
How did you develop that over the years that it worked out for you, that you were able to overcome that?
I literally read one word at a time. And then I would increase the speed. I would always ask for the script beforehand, work on it, know it, almost memorize it. So then when I read it, I could read it with a flow.
It wasn't until Winkler was 31 and at the height of his Happy Days fame that he realized he had dyslexia, a realization that came when his young stepson was diagnosed with it.
You write that you were incredibly angry.
I was, because I was humiliated. I was constantly browbeaten. I was punished, grounded for most of my life. Then the next stage was, all right, so I have this thing. Now I have to learn to negotiate it because it doesn't go away. It is the wiring in your brain. And then I thought to myself, you know, maybe I would not be sitting in this chair if I did not have the challenge to constantly work through that made my tenacity like steel.
You talk about that gave you the tenacity because you had to work through it. Do you think you also developed other skills?
I don't know if I developed the skill, but what I learned through listening. Now that came in really handy as an actor. A generous scene partner not only listens to you, but listens actively, so that all of a sudden your relationship in the scene becomes very organic off of what you are saying. Not, now it's my turn to talk, or I don't need to listen to you. I know what I'm going to do no matter what you do. That's a killer.
In 2003, Winkler published his first children's book about Hank Zipser, a young boy with dyslexia growing up in New York City. He's gone on to write 17 more.
I remember what it was like to be 8. I remember what it was like to fail. So I was able to bring that reality, and then kids write, and they say, "How did you know me so well?"
What advice do you have for young people who are going through the frustrations you went through?
Remember that there is greatness inside you, and that your job is to dig it out and give it to the world as a gift. School might be hard, but it has nothing to do with how brilliant you are.
Winkler's parents, who were Jewish, had fled Germany in 1939 for New York City, where he grew up. It was, he says, a very unhappy childhood.
I appreciate my parents. They came from another country, learned another language, lost everything that they had, started new. I had a pretty good life. What I don't accept, what I don't get over, you have a child. They are not an extension of you. They are an individual, and you've got to see them as that. And then you see they're having a problem. How do I make that problem better? If you just diminish that child because they are embarrassing you, not good. They would punish me all the time for being lazy. I couldn't watch TV. They went out, and I had to turn off the television. I had to judge it and turn it off in time. Because when those people came home, they put their hand on top of the TV, and if it was warm, I was grounded another 6 weeks.
As you say in the book, not everyone can have nurturing parents,
right,
who give unconditional love.
Right.
What do you say to another child, someone who's going through that, who's having that experience?
I'll tell you exactly. I saw my life as a stainless steel cylinder with no handholds, no footholds. And all I had to do was get to the top lip, pull myself up, and be in the sun. And I kept sliding back down, sliding back down. I eventually figured out how much pressure it was going to take for me to get to that lip and pull myself up. I tell each child, you are powerful. And no matter what is happening, you keep your eye on the prize of your imagination. You keep your eye on what it is you want, without ambivalence, without doubt.
Even at the peak of his popularity, Winkler says he always reminded himself that fame can fade.
When people would come up to me and they said, "Oh my God, you walk on water," I would say, "You can't be talking to me." I understood that stardom, you're floating on cotton balls, but it's going to rain. And those cotton balls are going to get very soggy, and they are not going to support anything. So I was very careful not to take anything for granted. Let me tell you that I lived most of my life being who I thought I should be. And I am now starting to become who I am.
Henry Winkler, thank you very much.
What a pleasure.
I enjoyed that.
What a lovely conversation.
The next piece I have for you is in 2024. He's on the London stage, and he's telling people what it was like to become the Fonz.
My agent, Joan Scott, went to California to open a satellite office. And John, who was left in the office in New York, said, "Hey, if you want to be known to New York, stay here. If you want to be known to the world, go to California." That is a decision a short neurotic cannot make right away. I talked myself out of it. I talked myself into it. I talked myself out of it. I talked myself into it. I finally bought a ticket because I made enough money making commercials. I had $1,000 saved. I made enough money to go to Los Angeles. On September 18th, 1973, I landed terra firma in Los Angeles. I walked right, like Mrs. Brown, right to my agent's office. I said, "Okay, I'm ready. Where am I going?" She said, "Wait a minute. It's going to be hard to sell you." "It's going to be hard to sell me?" That is a $3,000, $1,000 mistake, 3,000-mile, $1,000 mistake. You don't tell that to me. I went in the corner and started to shake. I was like a bowl of Jell-O before it ever goes in the refrigerator. And then she said, don't you want to find a place to live? I said, no, I don't. I want to go on an audition. But then I remembered, okay, this woman that I went to Emerson with, Stephanie, she had an apartment. She said, if you come out to LA, you can stay with me. I took her up on it. She had a 1-bedroom apartment, a little kitchenette, a fold-out bed, and there was a little hallway that led to the bathroom. And I took the pillows from her fold-out bed and I put them in this little hallway, and that was my apartment for 2.5 weeks. I was too scared to look for anything else. And so I'm in there, and I get a call. I get a call from my agent. Okay, go, and here's your audition. So I drive up and over the hill into the valley in Los Angeles. I go to CBS, and I try out for the Mary Tyler Moore Show. The producer says, I don't have a script yet, but I know one line. Please pass the salt. I said, okay. So now I'm showing him pictures of all the plays I did at Yale. He could care less. I don't have a leather portfolio. I've got a brown paper bag from the supermarket. I didn't realize, but it became like a conversation piece. And then all of a sudden I took a glass from his desk, poured out the pencils, picked up a pencil, clinked it on his desk and said, do not bother yourself. If you get a moment, could you pass the salt? By the time I got back to my hallway, I had the part. I got my first part in Hollywood. Oh my goodness. First week. Oh, I had 4 lines. I ad-libbed it to 6. This was amazing. And then one day I was in my little vestibule and time to go to sleep and everything, and I opened the door because I thought I would get a soda, and I didn't realize that her boyfriend was there, Francis Exfian. He was a publicist, and I am so sorry. So I just stayed in my vestibule. I just stayed in my hallway. And then the second week, I got another call from my agent. She said, okay, you have an audition for a new series. I am still under the pressure of the Yale School of Drama. I said, I am so sorry. I don't think I can do a series. You know, I was trained for the theater. She said, will you just go and meet them? I drove to Paramount. And I walk in, and there is the green room. I don't know why they call it green. It is never green, but all the actors waiting to go in for this part are all sitting there. They are all on television. I have seen them all. And me. I have hair down to my shoulders. Hi, how are you? You look famous. Even sitting down, you look famous. I had a sweat stain that looked like the Hudson River was flowing under my shirt. My turn. I go into the office. There are 11 people. Gary Marshall, all of his minions, the head of casting from Paramount behind a brown... Can I ask you a question? You're the same woman who's been doing this the whole time. You just changed your top. You were wearing green and now you're black. Nice. I just was checking. Just checking. Okay, so I'm in the room, and I thought honesty is the best policy. I said this sweat stain is in direct correlation to the fear that is running through my body. I'm reading with a man named Pasquale. He's going to read the other part. I don't know what happened. Something went off in my head. I just went with it. So this is another lesson that I learned. Your instinct. Listen to your instinct. I'm reading the lines with him, and all of a sudden I said, don't you look at me like that. And then I threw the script up in the air. I sauntered out of the room on my birthday at the end of the month. When my money ran out, when I had to go back to New York, I got a call. Would you like to play this role? I said, hey, if you let me show the emotional side, it will be my pleasure. They said yes. I said yes. And I got a phone call. It was my mother. We're taking you, your sister, and what's his name on a trip to Europe. They never called my sister's first husband by his first name. We're taking you, your sister, and what's his name on a trip to Europe. We don't know how long we're going to be around. We don't know how long we're going to be here. 1973. My mother died in 1991. I said, I cannot come. I am so sorry. I got a job on a new show. I only have 6 lines. And my mother said, I remember it like it was yesterday, oh, this is great. Here, tell your father. But you laugh. I had to live with it. Okay, so I go to the set. I'm there on stage 24, Paramount Studios, and we're reading the script, and there's a joke, I can't do it, and I'm punching the script, and Ron Howard, 18 years old, I am now 27, I'm the oldest teenager in captivity. He puts his arm around me, he walks me to the back of the sound stage. He said, you know, they are trying as hard as they can. I wouldn't hit my script. I said, Ron, I will never hit my script as long as I live. And then my big scene comes up, and it says your character goes to the mirror and combs his hair. I went to the director and I said, oh. Look, I want to be original. I really do. And you know, every character that is, they've always combed their hair. I'll do anything, but I can't comb my hair. And he said, it says, go to the mirror, comb your hair. Okay. I go to the mirror. I pull out my comb. Hey, look at that. I don't have to. It's perfect. And that's how that moment came to be. So, let me just say, if anybody in this hall tonight is thinking about being an actor, wants to be an actor, dreams about being an actor, here is what I've learned. There is no right, there is no wrong, there is no perfect. You cannot be who the producers or the directors think they want. Sometimes they don't even know who they want. There is you. You and your imagination and your instinct. And whatever comes to you, you go with it. And sometimes you fall, and sometimes you don't. And it doesn't matter because there's always somebody to say, you know what, let's try that again. Let's do it this way. But sure, I can do it that way. You listen to your instinct. You know, we know so much in our head, but we don't know enough. We know everything in our instinct. Our instinct knows everything, and you listen to your instinct. Do not double think yourself. If you're at a party and someone approaches you and you don't like that person, do not think, oh, I must be wrong. You walk away. If you're in a job interview and you think, whoa, this is not where I'm supposed to be, but I need a job, do not double think yourself. There will be another interview. Get up and leave. Your instinct knows everything.
This next one is Good Morning America. It's 2024, October. It's his birthday, his 79th birthday.
Here now with our friend Henry Winkler. Most of us first saw him as the Fonz in Happy Days, his breakout role in a stellar acting and directing career, most recently winning an Emmy for Barry. Now he's written a new memoir, Being Henry. Henry, thank you for coming back.
I'm so happy to be here.
You're dressed in full writer mode today.
Yes.
You have elbow patches.
But I thought this jacket was so beautiful. It's brand new.
Well, thank you for dressing up for us. You look great.
You bet.
Tell us about the book.
The book, my son Max, for years, said, Dad, you should tell stories. You should put a memoir together. I said, I'm dyslexic. I can't do that. So I understood how to write the children's books with a partner. And that worked out really well. So I found a wonderful man by the name of James Kaplan. And we did the same thing. I didn't realize I had to invite him to California and put him up and feed him 3 times. And the man is an eater. Can I tell you? The 3 meals a day. But anyway, we talked for 70 hours. He molded it. I rewrote it. I added. He then, and then I. And then it's a book.
Yeah, it's a collaboration like that. Big week for you. You got the book coming out tomorrow, and it's your birthday today.
Yes,
happy birthday.
Thank you.
But we're not the only ones who want to wish you a happy birthday. I think you might recognize this person right here.
First of all, happy birthday. I'm sure you're having a great time there on Good Morning America, as you always do. But secondly, your memoir. Thank you for sending me the copy. I read it. I loved it. I'm sharing it with the family. It's remarkable. And you know, there was a lot that I learned about you that I didn't know, and I frankly thought that was impossible. Great work. Thank you for sharing your story. And have a great day. Love you.
Yeah, Ron Howard, of course. That's got to mean a lot.
So, 50 years of history. We had a dinner at our house. Ron and his wife, I met them before they got married. He had a redheaded daughter. Well, I did a play in 2000 for Neil Simon. I took her out, Bryce, out to lunch. She said, there's a guy in my class. How am I going to get him to pay attention? He then married her. Their children. My daughter married within months of Bryce, also red hair. Her children at the table. 50 years of history.
Yeah. And there's no way you could have imagined the impact 50 years ago playing that role would have on your life.
All you can do is be in the moment and enjoy and make people laugh. The show is a comedy. In Barry, I didn't know what I was doing. I had to get a flashlight because it was so dark. I had to, Bill, where are you?
True. It's so
you know,
good,
Bill
though.
Hader, where are you?
The Fonz was such a huge character. Did you ever feel trapped by him?
I never felt trapped by him. I understood that I thought I could beat the odds of typecasting, and you can't. You know, when I met my wife, she had a 4-year-old son, Jed. I was a candle on his cake before I ever got to the door.
Wow.
He went, "Hi, Fonz," and I, with all of the charm of nothing, I said, "My name is Henry. Would you like it if I called you Ralph?" I'm now arguing with a 4-year-old in order not to be typecast.
That is a losing battle, Henry.
Yes. So he is now my son, and but he gave me the Fonz. You know, I'll tell you something. When you look at the cover of the book, it is Henry on the front and Fonz on the back. And the Fonz is so generous. He gave me notes.
Oh, that's nice.
He read it and then he said, I would like cut this whole section right out. I'm not kidding.
I can't get enough. I can't get enough.
Yeah, he said, what are you doing like that? And that picture on the front, what kind of hair is that?
He's tough, but lovable. And let's talk about another role that you just absolutely ate up in Barry. You were there since day one with Bill Hader.
If it's not on the page, it's not on the stage. That the companies and the actors and the writers have such a hard time coming together. The writer is the beginning and the end. Everybody has something to hang their hat on if the writing is good.
And it was that good.
Barry was like a gift from the heavens.
And we only have a few seconds left. We got to bring in the cake.
Oh, yes.
While I've got the cake,
We heard the chocolate bun cake in your book. You talk about
No.
how-
I really do. I love bun cake.
He knows we're running out of time.
I'm very,
And
very
man
happy with the bun
delivers.
cake. But I just want to say that I also have this wonderful children's book called The Detective Duck that came out 14 days.
So you can get both of them tomorrow. Being Henry and the Fonz
Yeah,
and Dion is
and
available
okay.
tomorrow. Thank you for coming.
So this next one was done in 2025 in October, and he's talking about his newest children's book.
Henry Winkler has spent more than 5 decades shining as one of Hollywood's favorite character actors, whether as the Fonz on Happy Days or recently as acting teacher Gene Cousineau on HBO's Barry. He has captivated audiences with his warmth and charm. Winkler has also held a storied career as an author of children's books, first with the Hank Zipzer series about the adventures of a child with dyslexia, and now with the 3rd volume in his Detective Duck series. In Detective Duck, The Mystery at Emerald Pond, Winkler, along with his longtime co-author Lynn Oliver and illustrator Dan Santat, take readers on another hilarious chapter book adventure, this time at the Emerald Pond Games. And we are so thrilled to have Henry Winkler back, friend of the show. Thank you so much for coming back on.
It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, so we got the 3rd in the Detective Duck series.
Oh, my goodness.
What keeps you coming back to these characters?
Well, first of all, she is so much fun to write. During the pandemic, my partner, Lynn Oliver, called and said, hey, remember that book that Hank Zipzer pulled off the shelf from the library? It was called Detective Duck.
Yes.
It was just a title. Wouldn't that make a great character? In this book, we have friendship, we have friendly competition, we have jealousy, and we have neighbors, and we have the idea that it's okay for your friend to have another friend. There's room for everybody.
And let's talk about, you mentioned Zipzer, the first character,
Yes.
Zipzer. Who's
Hank, he is me.
Yes, a child who has dyslexia early on.
Right.
And why was that so important? Because a lot of your big fans may not know that you have dyslexia.
I am completely dyslexic. I was told I would never achieve. It was hard for me to read. And now I am the author. This is our 40th children's book. Amazing. I am amazed.
It is amazing and proof of what you can do despite.
You can do anything.
Yes.
You have no idea what you can accomplish until you just put one foot in front of the other. True.
Obviously, having dyslexia often is perceived as a challenge.
Yes.
Was there anything about it that helped you as far as whether it was at acting
You know
or
what? That's a great question. It was always, it made me feel less than. I never knew what I had. I was only called stupid. When I found out, when my first son, my stepson, Jed, in the 3rd grade, we had him tested. And when they told us about him, I went, oh my goodness, that's me. And I found out I wasn't stupid, I wasn't lazy, I literally had something with a name.
Not until you were an adult.
Not until I was in my 30s. So the first thing that happened was I was angry. I mean, all the yelling, all the punishment, all the demeaning language was for naught. I had something that was like given to me by the people who are yelling at me. The second thing that happened was I went, okay, I'm dyslexic. Okay, I have to deal with it. And the third thing was, I'm not sure I would be sitting in this chair chatting with you about all of these wonderful things that have happened in my life if I didn't have the fight.
It was the struggle that
I don't know.
you...
I'm thinking that, yes, it taught me to be, a very short, neurotic person, taught me to be tough. Taught me to, I'm going to find my own way around this. It's like writing the books. I don't sit at a computer. I write with Lynn. There is your way to do something, not a way.
And so what is your advice to not only parents, but teachers and the children who are I just heard a story today
Yeah.
from a parent who was saying when they were teaching their son to read, still at 7, and he was having a hard time, and
Right.
they were getting so frustrated
Yes.
with him, but not even realizing it.
Right. The most important thing is to see the child in front of you. As a parent, a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, teacher, to see who is in front of you. They are not having a hard time because they want to make trouble. They are not acting out because they want to make trouble. It is the wiring that is hereditary. So if you see a problem, even if you cannot solve the problem, even if you don't know what to do, what you know how to do is to make that child feel okay about being who they are. I think that is the basis of living. Making sure a child has a sense of self.
Funny little story that you reminded me of. You said you just read your first novel at 31.
Yes.
You did an interview where you said you didn't learn how to really act until you were 72.
That is true.
What took you so long?
I'm a slow learner. Do you know what? My self-image was so down around my ankles for so long. I had a dream at 27. That's when I got the Fonz. And I changed my voice, and it unleashed my imagination. And then I knew what I wanted at 27, but it took me until Barry at 72 to really come into comfort level, being able to do what my imagination wanted.
You are just a month away from
Yes.
turning 80.
Who?
A month away from turning 80
Me?
years old.
I have to check my license.
That's right. That's right. You
80.
What keeps you so
Where's my
young?
walker? You know what? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just thankful that I have the energy to continue to do what I'm doing. I do this wonderful new show on the History Channel.
Yes.
Called Hazardous History. We did 8 episodes. So many people watched. We were just picked up for another 30.
Well, we say with so much gratitude to you, thank you so much for the conversation.
It is always a pleasure, isn't it?
Always, the pleasure is all mine.
We always have a good
yes,
time.
Yes, we do.
This last one I have for you is from just the beginning of this month, May 2026, when Henry Winkler addresses Emerson College graduates for their graduation from college.
Thank you. Okay. I have so many things I want to say and so little time to say it, but in the words of Maya Angelou, they gave me 10 minutes. I decided to take 15. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my life and what I've learned, and maybe you can identify. First, I'm going to talk to the parents. You may experience this. Our youngest son finished high school. He said, "Wow, I am exhausted. I don't think I'm going to go to college." I said, "But you know what? I think you better go to college. Maybe you can learn about yourself. Maybe you can find some friends. Maybe you can learn about what you want to do." He said, "God will provide." So he went to college and he graduated, and then he said, "You know, I'm not going to get a job." I said, "Oh my goodness, I think you better get a job. You might meet somebody. You need a nest egg. You might want to get a house." He said, "God will provide." He got a job. He said, "You know, I'm only going to go in 3 days a week." I mean, it's hard. I said, "But you know what? They're going to fire you. They're going to think that you're not interested. It doesn't show leadership." He said, "God will provide." I know 2 things about our son. He's a slacker. And he thinks I'm God. I grew up in New York City I had very, very, very short German parents. I wanted to be an actor. My father wanted me to take over the lumber business that he brought from Europe. I said, I'm not interested in wood. He said, why do you think I brought it over here? I said, besides being chased by the Nazis, Dad, was there a bigger reason than that? The only wood I was interested in was Hollywood. But I was told that I would never achieve. I am in the bottom 3% academically in America. Everything except for lunch was difficult. The headmaster of my high school said, Winkler, I want to know why you're not achieving. I said, hey, that makes two of us. I took geometry for 4 years, same course. I took it in regular school, summer school, regular school, summer school, regular school, summer school, regular school, summer school. I finally passed it in August of 1963 with a D-. If I didn't get that D-, I could not come to the one college that said yes of the 28 I applied to. Emerson. I love Emerson. They took me in and they nurtured me. And it was only one block at that time. It was Beacon Street at that time. And you know, when I was growing up, my life was like a cylinder of stainless steel. No handholds, no footholds. And I kept trying to pull myself up into the sun, and I kept failing at everything. And finally, I pulled myself up into the sun. And I started to get work in commercials. And of course, my parents were not happy with me at all. I embarrassed them. But I had a dream, and I never let that dream out of my mind. I live by two words, tenacity and gratitude. Tenacity will get you where you want to go, and gratitude will make you enjoy the journey no matter how bumpy. Here it is. No matter whether you procrastinated or you got your assignment done immediately as it came tumbling out of your professor's mouth. Whether it's hard to learn or you are the top of your class, you're all here in your seats. So I go to Hollywood. And I have long hair down to my shoulders, and I go to Paramount Studios, and I try out for a new show. And I walk in, and there's the producer, Gary Marshall, and 11 other men and women in that room. And I said, okay, honesty is the best policy. This sweat stain that looks like the Hudson River under my shirt is due to my fear that is running through my body. I had 6 lines. I went, hey, don't look at me like that, you know. I threw the script up in the air and I sauntered out of that room. On my birthday, 1973, they called me and said, would you like to join us? I said, yes. Yes, I would. So I go to the studio. I go to Paramount Studios on the first day. And there it says in the script, go to the mirror, comb your hair. I said, I don't want to comb my hair. I want to be original. Every actor has combed their hair. Do anything, write anything, I will do it. They said, oh, the producer wrote, go to the mirror, comb your hair. I go to the mirror, I pull out my comb, go, hey, look at that, I don't have to because it's perfect. So here's the lesson. This is the lesson I learned. You are not hired, no matter what you do, to fill time and space. You are hired to fill that time and space with your imagination. You listen to your tummy. Your tummy knows everything. Your mind only knows a few things. You listen to your tummy. Okay, you're thinking, all right, I'm going to graduate from college. Outside those walls, it's really tough. It is scary. I might be prepared. Some of you might not be prepared, but here it is. You're going to find out that you can do it, that it is no secret out there. All it is you and your wonderful intellect and your tummy, and you will do what you have to do. And then I will tell you something else. It was said in Washington not too long ago, America, the problem with America, we have too much empathy. Well, you can live a life, you can accomplish, you can accumulate a lot of stuff, you can fill your house and then fill your garage and fill your basement, but you cannot live a rich life if you don't have empathy. I will end with this. Every one of you is powerful. Some of you know your power. Some of you are scared of your power. Some of you haven't touched it yet. You're not aware it's even there yet. And I want to tell you, you are powerful. And in you is a great gift. And your job is to figure out what your gift is, because this world needs every single one of you. And your job is to find that gift and give it to the world. It doesn't matter what it is. We need it. Go! Thank you. Thank you. Amazing.
And that, my friends, is the end of our story.